I'm across a subject where I need to step a little bit more carefully, and as a result, I won't say very much. Because if somebody that knows you for a little bit of time anyway, doesn't see how you feel about certain issues, then you definitely you're definitely fucking up. I see 100%. I see taxation as theft and very much forced coercion. And anybody who doesn't believe that, well, I can't say it would hold true for the IRS, at least on the county level in my particular county. If you refuse to pay your land tax on your own property, see what happens. It may take a couple of years, but you'll be hauled off in chains. If you refuse to move, just sit there on your porch. An auction happens where somebody takes your land and it's given to someone else who will pay for those things in the county and whatever that you may or may not believe in. Internal revenue and federal income tax is a little bit different, but there are definitely measures of censure and as well as financial penalties for not complying. Nothing like a debtor's prison or anything so drastic, but still remarkably unpleasant. I believe these practices to be morally wrong and definitely in a direction that nobody should ever go. Bringing us to a slightly earlier discussion of, is it okay to commit evil to make good? Does a means justify an end? I can't answer that. Part of this video is going to talk about why it is that I say the things that I say about General George Washington and I think Major Alexander Hamilton? We'll just call him Secretary Alexander Hamilton. I don't need to particularly defend them on a historical basis. You know, both of them are Revolutionary War veterans. Their actions speak for themselves. I think it's ironic that like where the things that Hamilton writes and then the things that Hamilton does are so different in one direction than the things that George Washington writes and then the things that George Washington does are so in the other direction. They're an interesting pair. Definitely an interesting pair. But I don't want there to be any misunderstanding or anything that takes us away from the premise of what I believe to be morally true. And I don't want to somehow go down a path where I am defending a practice which I very much believe is immoral. My points seemingly for Alexander Hamilton are in many of the arguments that are posed against Alexander Hamilton, like his hypocrisy in writing and then therefore practice. If we were to appropriately hold the same standards that are being held to Alexander Hamilton amongst the libertarian community, then we end up having to lose Thomas Jefferson and Andrew Jackson as well as many other revered, seemingly libertarians or the early Democrats of the United States. Thomas Jefferson's main thing being the Louisiana Purchase. So, if a singular action can eliminate the logic and the validity of anything that a person's written, then you know, we can't talk about Jefferson anymore. And with Jackson, that concurrent policy of manifest destiny, his his attacking of the British after the cessation of hostilities during the War of 1812, the push into Florida, the push into Mississippi, the Trail of Tears. Whoo, buddy. There's a particular quote that Doug Carlton pointed out that George Washington made, General Washington made, that I'm not going to bring up here today. If you look in his videos, you'll find it. It's one of the early ones, and Mr. Carlton has a bit of a real high-end, like, hey, look at this, you think your guy's so great? Look at what he said. And I took exception to what that quote really meant to be, and it's not something that I'm going to get into today. But it ends up coming down to splitting hairs and picking nits, and it can easily lead us to a path away from a message of what we believe to be moral and right, what really is necessary and proper. So I'm going to leave it there. And for anybody who has no idea what this video is about, I apologize. And if there's too many people that don't get what I'm saying, feel free to comment and I'll further clarify. All right, y'all take care.